Okay.
Hi, am I audible? And is the screen visible?
Yes. So we can hear you and we can see your screen. So we're excited to hear next presentation about forming a strategic framework for the establishment of a supply chain capable of converting Oklahoma's textile solid waste into usable products. And we'll be hearing from Sayak Nandi and Ishmam Zahin Chowdhury from Oklahoma State University. So the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dial, for the brief introduction. So good morning to all my fellow presenters, panelists, and members of the LEAPS community. I am Sayak Nandi. I'm currently a grad student in the Department of Design and Merchandising from OSU. Along with me, my co-presenter Ishmam will be presenting the topic today, forming a strategic framework for establishment of a supply chain capable of converting Oklahoma's textile solid waste into usable products. So before going into the what we are done, it is necessary that we have a very good background or a brief background of the current textile market. So of 116 million tons global fiber production, that is one of the main raw materials of the textile. 92 million tons of textile wastes are generated globally every year, and fast fashion industry has contributed significantly to that, and almost it contributes to almost 20% of the global wastewater, as well as 3% of the global CO2 production. Moreover, due to this fast fashion, there has been a decline in our shelf life of the whole garments, as well as it is expected the emission, this global wastewater emission and this global CO2 emission with the increase in fast fashion are going to double almost in next 10 years. So in US, it's almost like 81.5 pounds of the clothing is discarded almost per person, and 113 million tons of textile wastes are generally ends up in the landfill, which contributes to almost 85% of the all textile consumed in US. In terms of the global scenario, less than 1% is so far the recycled fabric or recycled, and also it this particular graph also shows almost 77% of the recycled fibers that also contribute comes from the bottles. They are also the polyester. They also falls under the global fiber consumption. At an estimate, one may say that this leads to almost a loss of 500 billion over the years every year. From our getting into a textile market, the global fiber market almost contributes to mainly two. There are mainly two key players. The first one is the cotton, and the second one is the polyester. Cotton contributes to almost 22%, and polyester almost 54%, of which only 1% of the cotton is being recycled. This is because cotton is mainly considered as a biodegradable fiber, so mostly end up in the landfills and they are degrade over the time. However, polyester being a non-synthetic fiber that degrades over the time, it takes quite a long time to degrade completely. Hence, this significant amount of work has been done for polyester to be recycled. Other than that, there are various other fibers that contribute. However, these two are the main key players that contributes to almost 75%. So we have focused a little bit more on these two key fibers. So during the life cycle, cotton, although it is considered as a biodegradable product, however, during its production, it consumes quite a lot of water. Uh, it is estimated almost 2.6% of the global water is used only in the cotton cultivation alone. However, not only that, although it is a biodegradable product, it requires a lot of pesticides and chemicals during its production. So it also consumes that. Moreover, during its disposal stage, when it ends up in landfills, although it's a biodegradable, it may contain dyes like the fabric that I am wearing. It's a cotton one. How it is dyed black color, so it may contain dyes. Although the cotton will degrade, however, the dyes, when it sips into the soil, this will hamper the fertility, as well as it may damage the soil as well. Also, during one of the key aspect is the incineration. When it ends up in the landfill, it is incinerated. It is a common practice to reduce the amount of landfill on the solid waste. And since it is a carbon-based material, the cellulosic material, it will definitely generate carbon dioxide, and which can in the long term lead to green global warming. Polyester, on the other hand, it has even more hazards in its throughout its life cycle. It is mainly a product that is taken from the that is derived from the oil and crude oil. It consumes a huge amount of energy. It consumes almost 69.6 gigajoule to produce 1 ton of polyester. This is just a guesstimate number based on literature. Also, during its usage, as my previous speaker already spoke about the microplastics, during washing of polyester, it generates a lot of microplastics. Also, its disposal. This is one of the main key concerns so far, that it does not degrade easily. It takes a long time to degrade a full polyester. Hence, one of the common practice as well is to incinerate it, which can lead, obviously will lead to generation of carbon dioxide, a lot of other greenhouse gases. And also when in landfill, it takes a long time to degrade. Hence, it will stay there for a long, and it will hamper the fertility of the soil. Also, we have seen a lot of polyester based products are being thrown into the water bodies, so it will act as a secondary source of microplastic pollution from there on. Also, at the same time, it is going to be there. Obviously, it is going to be there for a long time, so it is going to hamper the marine ecosystem for a while. So based on this concept, there has been a few textile recycling strategies that has been adopted through and throughout the world. So one of the very common strategies is the mechanical recycling, where we obtain a uh, textile waste. We generally sort it out. In certain cases, even sorting is not done. So we shred it to obtain something like this. After that, we again go for another processing to obtain something called a shoddy. The shoddy is almost where the textile waste is almost gone into the fiber stage. After we obtain the shoddy, so few companies try to produce yarn out of the shoddy, and from yarn we can go for any kind of fabrics. So this is one of the process that is done. Also from the shoddy, a few companies are trying to get to the non-ovens. The non-oven has a very good thermal insulator, so it this waste can be used as a very good thermal insulator. So this is one of the strategies that has been seen in various companies. The second one, for the plastics, this is a very common practice for the plastics. That is, when we have the waste, either it may be textile or similarly bottles, the plastic PET bottles are also used in the second process, where initially they remove all the contaminants. This is similar to sorting. However, you need to make sure as much removal is possible. After that, we grind them to form the polyester chips, and these polyester chips are then melted, and we get again a new fiber from this processing. So this is one of the strategies that has been done so far. This is a mechanical recycling. Another one recycling, this has been done, is the chemical recycling. So this is PET, the very common type polyester that is currently being used, the polyethylene terephthalate. So to explain this, a very similar, like a very easy analogy can be, if we have water, that is H2O, we are degrading it to H2 and O2, that is the its components, that is the hydrogen and oxygen. After that, we are again reprocessing it to get the H2O. So this is what is done over here. So from polyester, they degrade it to monomer or any kind of subsequent components. After that, they again repolymerize it and get the polyester. So after this, my co-presenter Ishmam will be taking from here on. So thank you.
Thank you, Shaq, thank you, Shaq, for giving me the floor. And as I was discussing about the recycling strategy, so if we go into the comparative aspects of this, so what happens is that in terms of what what articles we can process through these recycling strategies. So mechanical recycling we can do for all kinds of fibers, so natural, synthetic, and as well as the blends. In terms of mechanical recycling for plastics, it is prevalent in the synthetic fibers area, but recently there's the man-made cellulose and viscose is more popular in that area. In terms of chemical recycling, it is based on solely the synthetic polymers. So in terms of how the process different in terms of like addressing the synthetic fibers and natural fibers, we can say that the mechanical recycling has the same process for all kinds of fibers. But the mechanical recycling for synthetic fibers and the man-made and the natural barriers, which is the cellulose and viscose, they differ from each other. Chemical recycling is the most varied one because is had for every types of chemical, the process is different. With the chemicals need to be applied there, it should be different. In terms of purity, as mechanical recycling doesn't need any types of sorting, so the purity is actually low in terms of mechanical recycling. However, for the other two approaches, we have to decontaminate first, we have to sort it out first. So the purity is better on those aspects. Chemical recycling, in fact, it has like the output is more similar to the virgin material, and that the energy consumption in this recycling process, in the mechanical recycling process, actually it needs a very low energy because of the less process involvement, and the other two require higher energy consumption, especially the chemical recycling due to all the chemicals and all the instruments that has to be used. So it is actually the highest energy consumption process. So based on this, for our strategy, we adopt we at first stage we would like to start with the mechanical recycling. So for this proposed work, we are aiming to currently we are aiming on that addressing the issue that there is a absence of proper infrastructure in Oklahoma for textile recycling. So hence our aim is to create a supply chain that will capable of converting Oklahoma's textile solid waste into the usable product so that it doesn't go into the landfill or being incinerated. So we are expecting that on completion of this project, we will benefit an estimated population of around 83,000 residents within the Payne County in Oklahoma. And subsequently, based on this success, we will broaden its demographic region, which will cover the 4 million individuals living in the state of Oklahoma. So what we are actually, our proposed methodology, we are approaching in a way so that we will collect the textile solid waste from the non-profit organization or volunteer organization that is actually working in the local area. So they got a lots of clothing donations. So but the thing is they use it or reuse it or sell it as a second if those products are applicable for the reuse or sale. But however, there are a significant portion is not usable. So we will collect those non-usable products, and then we will collect it into our facility, and then we will remove the trims and trims and other trims, zippers and buttons, all those hard trims from there. And after that, we will take the clothing article to the shredding machine and shred those textiles into the shoddy format. So after that, we will transfer those shoddy materials into our local manufacturers. So we are targeting the end products such as like rug manufacturing, pillow stuffings, soft toys, punching bag stuffings, and even some of these shoddy materials are even actually working as a fashion art trim article in the fashion art articles. So what happens is that in 2023 in Milan Fashion Week, such articles has been displayed. So our action in this supply chain is more of a working as a key part of that supply chain. So we already established a collaboration with these non-profit organizations and to how we will collect those articles and how we will get those articles into our facility. So after that, we will sort those materials based on our knowledge, and like if we need to identify the fibers, if there is no label or tags saying what is it is cotton or synthetic fibers or not. And after that, we will just remove remove those zippers and buttons, and then shade. We will goes into our shading machine. So for that shading machine, we are currently targeting. We actually contacted with several manufacturer of the shader, from both local and from the international. Like we are targeting a like capacity of 300 kg per hour processing machine, which at first stage we will be running for 4 hours. So like an estimated production of 1,000 kg per week. So based on that, we will package those shoddy material and ship it to our local manufacturers. So our expected result from this, we anticipate a reduction in the textile waste by this supply chain initiative, and then we will the usage of this shaded textile actually create and reaching out to our manufacturing partners, actually creating a value adding from the waste materials. So our initiative, in conclusion, I could say that our initiative is to minimize the textile waste in the Stillwater community in Oklahoma, and we hope that it holds a great promising potential. The envision reduction not only aligns with our objective, but also represents our opportunities for creating different kinds of valuable items from the discarded textiles. As we are striving for success in our Stillwater, our ambition is to broaden our efforts to encompass all of Payne County and eventually the entire state of Oklahoma, not only from the mechanical recycling, but also from the other two aspects that we have mentioned. Then this expansion actually aims to contribute significantly to the substantial reduction in the textile waste across this entire region. So our idea is that we know that there are processes for textile waste, but the thing is that it is still not prevalent due to the lack of the supply chain, successful supply chain that will actually create the value adding, solve the issue of the business, so that we can successfully add the value to those waste materials. So thank you all for being here and for listening to us. If you have any question, please.
Thank you so much for that presentation. It's something I was struck listening to it is just like how many of the tools exist, but it really to kind of handle this recycling issue, but there's so much coordination that needs to occur. And I think you proposed a really interesting framework for doing that.
Thank you.
If any folks have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And I see we have one already. So the first question is, have you linked the microplastics in clothing to any specific medical issues connected to wearing textiles with high plastic content? Or if you can speak to that in your own research, if you can speak to that more generally too.
So I believe definitely microplastics, when we are wearing over the years, there is a chance to leach. Definitely there is a chance to leach. However, this really needs a little bit of research whether it can leach up to that standard where it can really harm or may cause any medical issue. However, if I say for the supply chain, this leads and go to the oceans, and after that, when we are consuming any kind of things that are related to that, so this creates a medical issue. However, from wearing the textiles with high plastic contents, this really needs some research on that as well.
Great, thank you. A question I had listening was just kind of thinking about generalizability, or whether this framework that you have designed for this kind of specific location, what are your thoughts about how like other communities, other locations, whether they be in the United States or other places around the world, might be able to adapt this framework that you've developed?
This is actually a very easy framework. We felt since we are starting it from the very scratch, so I believe it is going to be very efficient to develop even through and throughout the world as well. We are trying to partner. We are actually creating the framework based on various partnerships. We have received partnerships from our local non-governmental or like non-profit organizations for getting the waste products. Also, in future, we are going to get to other organizations who currently are collecting this textile waste as well. And after that, we are currently shipping it to one of the bigger US recyclers who has a good outreach through and throughout US for the end use. However, in future, we do plan to instead not only limiting ourselves to shredding, we will definitely go for shoddy and make a full recycling. This is, I believe, it is going to be very easy to apply elsewhere as well.